I'm not going back to Haiti.
One of those threats is this illegal alien from Haiti. ICE says he's a gang member with 17 criminal convictions in recent years.
Trump's deportation agenda is in full swing. The ICE, which is the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency, is conducting raids. They are making hundreds of arrests daily. These guys are like Jehovah's Witnesses, but with guns. So far, I think they've arrested about 5,000 illegal immigrants, many of whom have already been deported to their home countries. And a lot of African immigrant communities are getting riled up, and for good reason. I think somewhere last year, Trump promised to get rid of up to 11 million illegal immigrants after assuming office. And so far, he's gotten rid of 5,000. So about 10,995,000 to go. That's a huge number. He has started deploying the military to the borders. I think the southern border has seen a lot of military deployment. Military aircrafts are being mobilized for this operation. It's kind of wild. It's almost like Trump is trying to prevent the spread of some virus. And knowing Trump, he probably views these illegal immigrants as viruses. Anyway, this is how things look like currently in the US.
Trump, you feel me? Yo, Biden forever, bro. Thank Obama for everything that he did for me, bro.
I don't think it's a good look to have a criminal thanking.
ICE Boston quickly takes down its next targets, including this illegal alien from Brazil who has an Interpol red notice for armed robbery. This Salvadoran illegal alien charged locally with rape and released by a sanctuary jurisdiction.
Look at the kind of people that are making it into the United States. It's crazy. You've been charged locally with rape, and somehow you still manage to make it into the United States. What's even more ridiculous is the fact that out of the many countries this particular individual could have chosen to go to, he chose the one country that is considered to be, a country of law and order. Even though most of the time the US isn't really a country of law and order, right? But then of all the countries he could have gone to, he chose the United States to go to. It's quite telling of the kind of immigration policy the US has. It's crazy.
And this Dominican illegal alien charged with assault with a deadly weapon and heroin trafficking. Officers also arrested this Guatemalan MS-13 gang member facing gun charges. ICE says he was released from local custody just the day before. Their detainer request was ignored because of sanctuary policies. And in a sign
And it is something I also don't get. So they have these sanctuary policies. There are certain states in the US that offer refuge to illegal immigrants, right? So you're an immigrant and you come into the state, they take you in and then they protect you. They look after you. But what is weird is some of these guys have criminal records. And these states will not cooperate with the federal government. That is what is most confusing to me. You would imagine that the states would be the first to try and get rid of these persons. But the federal government is actually having a hard time getting these people arrested because they would arrest some of these guys and the state would just release them. It just doesn't make any sense. I don't understand how the US has been operating for the past couple of years.
shifting priorities with the new Trump administration, this man, who was in the same apartment as the target, was also arrested after ICE determined he's also in the U.S. illegally. This is what ICE calls collateral.
So you guys got your main target just now, but you got somebody else. What just happened?
So our main target was released by a sanctuary jurisdiction, not honoring a detainer.
So I think this whole sanctuary jurisdictions and basically the cities are not mandated to cooperate with the federal government. I think that's how it works. I'm not too sure. So if someone has a criminal record, the state is allowed to keep it secret. Essentially, they don't really have to share that information with the federal government. They don't have to share that information with the ICE, for instance.
That person was released back into the community, and when we went to go find him, he's with somebody else who was
usually
previously
stick
removed
together.
from the United States. So he's going to go today too.
And that is exactly what Border Czar Tom Homan has warned would happen.
When we find the bad guy, he's probably with others that are in the United States illegally. They may not be a criminal priority, but we're not walking away from them.
ICE Boston says they will continue to go into sanctuary jurisdictions and do their job.
Today was a good day. Today we took
Okay, if anyone understands what this sanctuary policy thing is all about, let me know in the comment section because it's kind of wild. So states are allowed to protect criminals, okay, or at least shield them from the feds in the name of being a sanctuary state. Is that how it works? So if you're a sanctuary state and illegals coming to your country and they have criminal records, you just give them the benefit of the doubt. You allow them stay. I don't know.
And just a short time after we wrapped up filming yesterday, ICE Boston told us they picked up 2 more targets in different parts of town away from our cameras, one of which was a previously deported Honduran illegal alien now arrested for allegedly raping a woman and putting a gun in her mouth. The second...
How does that even happen? Rape? So, okay. I mean, at this point, I'm just going to stop trying to even understand how the US operates. So someone who has been, charged with rape and pointing a gun in the mouth of his victim is somehow being shielded. Is that how it works?
Is a Haitian man who first flew into the U.S. in 2023 as part of President Biden's controversial migrant flights mass parole
Now
program.
I understand why the first guy was thanking Biden and Barack Obama. I don't know why he was thanking Obama.
Parole program. Well, ICE arrested him yesterday because he is now facing local charges for sexual assault. We'll send it back to you.
Look at that.
Bill, such an excellent report. Thank you for that very much.
I think this is a very bad look for the US, obviously, for any country, okay? For people, criminals to be finding a safe haven in your country because of certain loopholes you have with your immigration policy. It's just wow. So obviously, what Trump is doing actually has a lot of support from many of his supporters. So now, as far as the African community or the Ghanaian community is concerned, I understand there are over 235,000 Ghanaians living in the US currently. And I saw on the news a couple of weeks ago, I think about 2 weeks ago, an analyst was being interviewed on TV3, and he spoke about the fact that about 4,000 Ghanaians could get affected by this mass deportation policy. And I'm thinking 4,000 is just a small fraction as compared to 235,000 Ghanaians living in the US. So obviously, this isn't really going to affect those that are living in the US legally. And there are a lot of Africans living in the US legally. I've seen people say stuff like Trump is racist, he's just trying to get rid of all migrants in the US. And that obviously doesn't make any sense. The US can't afford to get rid of immigrants. Take New York, for instance. In the state of New York, there are about 1,500 Ghanaian doctors. 1,500 doctors from Ghana. And I was just reading online from statistica.com where they said in Ghana alone, there are about 3,200 medical doctors in all of Ghana. Honestly, I still find it very difficult to believe that in a country with a population of 32 million, we have just 3,200 doctors. It doesn't make any sense. Like, where are all these medical graduates going every single year? But if this report by statistica.com is true, and we have just 3,200 doctors in Ghana, then it means that we have more Ghanaian doctors in all of US than we have doctors here in Ghana. Which just doesn't make any sense. I mean, the state of New York has 1,500 doctors, and that's not counting the doctors in other states in the US. So if you add all the doctors in other states together, it will probably surpass 3,200. And that's the number of doctors we have in Ghana. So obviously, the US cannot do away with immigrants like this. We have doctors, engineers, lawyers, there are all kinds of professionals from Africa living and working in the United States. And the US can't do without them. And so the only people that are going to be affected by this exercise are people who have gone there illegally, people that the US doesn't actually consider to be useful to them. Okay, you don't really contribute anything meaningful to the general development of their nation. Those are the people that are going to be sent back home. And to be honest with you, I think it's a fair trade. Yeah, so that's that.